From the colorful buildings with funky roofs, down to the statue of Ronald McDonald giving you chlorophobia, McDonald's was a great place to go and be obese as a kid. McDonald's used to be a place of joy. Let me tell you, there is as much nostalgic beauty emanating from these pictures as there was cholesterol clogging my arteries. And I gotta tell you guys, they just don't make them like they used to. The other day I was driving around town and I passed by a McDonald's I remember vividly going as a kid and play there. In the PlayPlace, in the Nintendo kiosk, my beloved. And nowadays, none of those are anywhere to be seen. Those are gone. I don't care how many flags you put up. That shit is just not McDonald's to me. Sure, you might tell everyone that you don't really care about McDonald's or you don't really feel a nostalgic energy when remembering McDonald's. But let's be honest, you are just lying to yourself to let yourself believe that you are way more special than you really are, and deep down you just...
Hey, Stinky!
So anyway, we were talking about McDonald's, by the way.
McDonald's will make you fat. They serve Big Macs. They serve quarter pounders. They will put pounds on you.
It's impressive how even with 2 jobs I can't afford good lighting. Hey and welcome! Please have a seat. Don't go anywhere. The PlayPlace is essentially just an indoor playground. For those who are under 16, playground is... But did you guys know that the PlayPlace originally was outside and it was called the PlayLand? Yeah, me neither. I also didn't know, so you are forgiven for not knowing. McDonald's thought to themselves of a way to keep people hanging around their locations for longer periods of time and maybe, perhaps, buy a cheeseburger or two. In 1972, McDonald's took it to Illinois State Fair to test their first PlayLand location. And it was located around an attraction called
McDonald's Land.
That gives me Chocolate Factory vibes. That was not a compliment. The PlayLand equipment, as well as the attraction, was heavily themed around McDonald's and its mascots, with people in costumes patrolling the streets and entertaining the visitors. Let's be honest, McDonald's had probably the best mascot designs ever, except that Hamburglar over there. I'm so glad I grew up with this and not this, because that Hamburglar just looks fucked, for lack of better word. The first official PlayLand was launched in California, and it featured a plethora of torture devices. We had the Hamburglar, a 3-meter or 10 feet tall swing. Look at that T-pose. Now that's a T-pose. The Officer Big Mac was a metal jungle gym that you had to crawl in from the base. I am terrified of this thing, because the only way you could exit the Officer Big Mac was from crawling out from the way you came in. So, if there were kids hogging the entrance, you better start kissing mommy and daddy goodbye, cause you're never gonna see them again. The Grimace was this child-sized cage that you could run through, and it would wobble a bit. You can't really tell me that these don't resemble the Iron Maiden or the Brazen Bull. Like, look at the Grimace, that is straight up the Iron Maiden, with slightly less spikes. There was also a very uncanny commercial for the PlayLand. I'm not joking, I did not edit the video to make it look like a Tim Burton movie. This is an official McDonald's commercial, and it looks like this. The guy even chokes on some food and they did not cut the audio.
You know, sometimes, dear, I think you like this place as much as the kids do.
Well, it does bring back memories of the candy shop, the ice cream.
Oh, it reminds me of the candy shop. You can't tell me this doesn't look like the beginning of a horror movie. You have the parents being very dismissive of their kid. Check. You have the spirit of Ronald McDonald himself calling for the kid. Also check. And you even get a very loud, rusty metal gate with a yellow pathway and everything, resembling the Wizard of Oz. It is terrifying.
Welcome, Eric, to McDonald's Land.
It is very Tim Burton-esque, if you ask me. You can't look at this and not be reminded of Tim Burton. It's just impossible. PlayLand was a success, and once it took off, plenty of other fast food chains started doing the same and coming up with their own themed playgrounds. You know, you burn yourself in a slide, what do you want next? The only possible solution, a cheeseburger and a Coke with enough sugar to kill a fucking bison. This offered parents a solution, because with the rampant fear of kidnappings and kids going missing, having a place where parents could take their kids to play with other kids without the fear of them getting kidnapped was pretty cool, and maybe along the way McDonald's could sell a few cheeseburgers. This all looks very promising. Kids are having fun, parents feel safe, and McDonald's is making bang. But unless you've been living under a rock, there are no PlayLands anymore. They're all disappeared, and my generation doesn't even know they ever existed. So when did the PlayLand got moved inside? When did the PlayLand become the PlayPlace?
A Big Mac has 26 grams of fat. A quarter pounder has 28 grams of fat.
With the increase of PlayLand locations, so did the number of injuries. As, oh, big oopsie, all of the McDonald's PlayLand locations were never tested for safety. Never. Over 1,500 injuries were reported by 1991. 1,500. Most of them were the classic cuts, bruises, maybe a few scratches. But there were also broken bones, broken teeth, and broken noses, some of them from kids running into the fry trees. Very appropriate name, those do look fried though. In 1886, a 40-year-old went down a slide in summer. He burned the skin off his hands. His little sister saw this happening and followed him shortly after, burning the skin off her calf. Both of these kids got second-degree burns and were rushed to urgent care. Urgent care. I told you guys. Those slides in summer. Oof. Also, why did she follow? She saw her little brother go down the slide and come out the other end, probably screaming, "Oh shit, my skin is melting." And she was like, you know what's a good idea? Follow my brother down the slide. She probably even dropped a few wheeze along the way as her calf melts off. Kids can be really dumb. The equipment was manufactured by GBI Incorporated, who was sued 21 times just for one single piece of equipment. The tug and turn merry-go-round. This thing here, this particular piece of equipment, had a safety device that was never installed in over 800 tug and turns. Brace for impact. And specifically, it hurt Marlene, a 6-year-old girl who in 1988 decided to climb into the tug and turn with a friend to, you know, play there and spin a little. But her shoelace got caught on a loose bolt, ripping her shoe apart and breaking her leg in 2 different places. 200 claims were credited just to the tug and turn. Among this were severed fingers, broken bones, dislocated joints, concussions, which can impair the development of the child, you know? A lot of serial killers got child concussions. You can look it up. Besides those, there were also a few skull fractures, a single neck injury caused by a falling fry tree. Luckily, there were no casualties in any of the PlayLand locations. Phew! Dodge that bullet. The same can't be said for the king of burgers himself, the Burger King. Where in 2001, a 4-year-old boy got access to a part of the playground not intended for playing, and got stuck between 2 pieces of equipment. This resulted in the kid's death. He got stuck there for a long time and that resulted in the kid's death. I'm not gonna make any jokes about it, and I don't even know if I'm gonna leave this in the video. After all the claims and lawsuits, 1999 marked the end of the PlayLand. Wanna hear a joke? Over 50% of all PlayLand locations got some kind of legal issue filed against it. That's pretty funny. Kids are stupid. I'm sorry if you're a parent watching this, but kids can be really dumb. They run around, they see a tube, they want to crawl into it. So these playgrounds have to be 100% fail-safe, or your kid is just going to Minecraft die or something. Gone were the burns caused by the boiling metal out in the sun. Gone was the rusted metal killing your kids of blood poisoning. Gone was the tug and turn, thank God. And gone was Officer Big Mac and Mayor McCheese. Two fallen soldiers. McDonald's never paid the designers, so they lost the rights to use those two characters. Mackie G's can be the biggest company in multiple fronts, and yet it can't pay the freaking designers? That's insane. The play area got moved inside, the metal was replaced by plastic, cushion or padded areas, featuring slides, tubes, and the ball pit. Also, it even had a small separate area where kids could play Nintendo 64 titles such as crappy Disney platformers or Super Mario if you got lucky. That's the part I can remember on account of me being alive by that point. I loved the kiosk. I would try my best to stay in line and wait for my turn to play one of the crappy Disney titles or Super Mario if I got really lucky. Only for this kid, this older kid, twice my height and twice my width, to push me aside and start playing as if I never existed, as I stay there looking like William Dafoe at this creature. I don't remember your face, I don't remember your name. But if I were you, I would start locking the doors, closing the windows, and clogging the toilet. Although the risk of fatal injury was greatly diminished, we had now a problem relating to hygiene and sanitation. Picture this. A kid eats a Happy Meal, the mom is way too busy talking on her phone, the kid jumps around the tubes, crawls into the tubes, jumps in the ball pit. Eventually, his bowels start making what we call in the business a movement. The kid pukes everywhere in the tubes. Who the hell is cleaning that? Kids are not just dumb, they are also possible biohazards. There are countless stories, you can look it up, of toddlers taking off their diapers and throwing the content everywhere. Kids defecating and urinating in the slides, tubes, and even in the ball pit. Kids, mainly toddlers, have nearly no control over their bowels, so when they say they need to go to the bathroom, that's actually a warning. What they really want to say is, I am going to the bathroom. On top of this, kids also don't have a snippet of self-awareness, so if they need to go, they will. The playground area was hard to navigate for adults, and consequently, really hard to clean and disinfect properly. How do you make an adult clean those slides, those tubes? How do you even clean a ball pit? That's the neat part. You don't. Sure, there are machines to take out all the balls, to make the employees have an easier time cleaning the pit itself, but there is no easy way to clean the balls themselves unless you spend a few hours cleaning each ball individually, while at the same time not existing any regulations for how a ball pit should be maintained. More bacteria was found in one single ball pit bowl than in your average public bathroom toilet seat. How many times do you think I can say balls without getting age restricted? Bacteria responsible for urinary infections, pneumonia, and heart infection, just to name a few. And when your locations rely on teenagers and college students getting paid below minimum wage with a lot of other stuff to worry about, you can't really expect peak efficiency when it comes to disinfecting the play area. Kids put everything in their mouths. Can you imagine playing in a ball pit and getting a heart infection? I am a pretty chill guy, but I think that would ruin my day. What also didn't help the situation was that broken glass, video games, watches, food, and loose change was often found in the ball pit. Who's throwing coins into the ball pit like that's some wish fountain or something? Who's throwing coins into the ball pit? Oh, I wish for more cheeseburgers. As well as people going into the same ball pits to shoot up, and they often left the syringes behind. You jump into the ball pit expecting a good time and, oh shit, plot twist, it is actually the needle pit from Saw 2. With the rebrand to the less visually polluting McDonald's design, some of the PlayPlace locations got discontinued or straight up removed. And later with the pandemic, the few remaining ones got closed with no expectations of opening anytime soon. And with the new iPad Kid era, fewer and fewer kids are using the equipment anyway, so the PlayPlace might very well be a thing of the past. It was good while it lasted. My health, I mean. But for real, the PlayPlace was definitely something to look back on. Looking back at some of these pictures, it seems very obvious how weird and possibly dangerous some of these pieces of equipment could be. But at the same time, if given the chance of going back in time, I would probably play there still. Something about this place reminds me of a simpler time, where our collective responsibility was to finish homework as fast as possible, to go outside and play, or to play the Xbox or something. Cause responsibilities and consequences at the time were just bedtime stories our parents used to tell us. After recording the video, I decided to swing by McDonald's for a quick nostalgia trip, and while the colorful buildings and mascots have long been swapped out for this sleeker modern vibe, the fries are still on point. Just gotta watch out for that sodium though. McDonald's is different, no doubt, but it is still a solid spot to chill with friends. Until one of them starts swiping your fries, that is. Although McDonald's has changed, it still has a foot in the past and I kinda vibe with it. I'm just glad that I got to live the glory days. And I'm also glad I didn't have a heart infection. Hey, welcome to the end of the video! If you watched till now, thanks a lot, and I hope you liked it. Scooby-Doo Live Actions Part 2 though has been delayed because it got claimed by Warner Bros. Manually. I am not salty about that. I am not salty at all. But if you enjoyed, feel free to let me know, and feel free to leave suggestions on other things you want me to talk about. I have many interests, and I am going to talk about them. With nothing else to say, I will see myself out. A lot of this... Jesus Christ. A lot of the Jesus Christ. With the rebrand to the less visually polluting PlayLand...